Hello and welcome to my studio. I'm Jessie and this is the Knit Up and Dye podcast, episode 101, New and Redefined. I always start with a special thank you to all of my subscribers, both new and ongoing. I love you guys. What you see here is all about you. I'm always looking to hear from you, feedback, ideas, what you'd like to see, what you'd like to hear. As always, I have my cheat sheet so that I have everybody named. Hello goes out to Stephanie and Dippa Knitting. Thank you for adding me to your lives. Special love and thanks go out to Toonie, Glenda, Tara, Diane, Allison, Barbara, Faye, Julie, Janelle, Erica, Adriana, Wayne, Sonia, Patricia, Lisa Lette, Cappy, Jorge, Kath, Chris, Benty, Neetsy, Christy, Charlotte, Roseanne, Linda, Marie, Eve, David, Donna, Betty Ann, Scott, John, Kate, Janet, Terry, Monica, Bex, Carolyn, Nancy, and Rachel. Much love goes out to my Zoom family, Robert, Juanita, Paula, Brian, Jen, Katie, Roz, Shirley, and Jamie. A warm hello goes out to all of my patrons. Thank you. You honor me. And if I missed anyone, I'm very sorry. Been a little distracted this week. We'll get there. I love you regardless of whether I said your name. Life. Life. My knee is better. My knee is a lot better. I have graduated. I'm no longer using my cane. I'm not having any inflammation. I'm not having any tenderness. I'm not having any pain. I think I'm in a really good place. I am still taking it a little bit easy. Yeah, anybody who has seen the amount of yarn that I've dyed would dispute that. But I am resting it when I'm not walking or working. So I think that chapter of my life, I think we've closed that, and I'm excited about that. Also in life, we have had a death in the family. Unfortunately, my father-in-law has passed away. And so we are making travel plans and trying to, there's an impact, there's always an impact. That's very difficult. And we are, looking to get home and be with family and deal with the services and just settle the estate and everything else. Love goes out to my family. Thank you guys. And yeah. So that has kind of moved some stuff around here. We are shifting our schedules a little bit to make everything work, and I'm shifting production around a little bit in preparation for my trunk show. Nothing's going to be lesser. It's just going to be handled in a different timely order than we had expected. Everything else is normal. What have I been doing? I think I talked to you guys a little bit before about I was trying some drop spindle and how Juanita, my friend Juanita, had very graciously gifted me with a spindle and a bunch of fiber, and I had been giving this a go. And yesterday I had kind of a breakthrough moment. I was on Zoom with a bunch of my friends, and Juanita was pushing me to practice. Thank you, Juanita. And when I took this up again, when I learned this, I did it over video relay with her. And in doing so, I imitated her actions. I actually relearned how to spin left-handed. And I was struggling with it. It never occurred to me that there was a left or a right handing of this. So I was spinning left-handed and the word drafting with my right, whereas, well, actually I was drafting left and right. Anyway, it's all very confusing. I'm still learning this. But Paula noticed what I was doing the other day and said, Jess, are you left-handed? And suggested I trade hands and directions, and lo and behold, it got a whole lot easier. Paula, thank you for your brilliance. Juanita, thank you for pushing me to keep trying this, and we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. once it clicked, once there was flow, once my hands were balanced, it made a lot more sense, and I enjoyed it more, and my production was a lot more consistent. I had a lot more control over what I was doing, and I felt better about it. It was also a lot faster. I couldn't imagine what people enjoyed about this if it took them 5 minutes to get 5 inches of one ply. But then when all of a sudden it only took 30 seconds to get a yard, it made a lot more sense. So this rabbit hole gets more enticing and deeper. I'm not addicted yet. I'm not addicted yet. What have I been knitting? Well, so I finished a project this week. That is really good news. These are the super secret birthday socks for somebody. They're going to be presented earlier than the birthday because of the change in our schedules. So fortunately, I got them done. I got them done in time. They're beautiful. I love them. They came out really nice. I like the yarn. I'm sorry, I don't have my label with me. But I did just a real simple 2x2 ribbing from the very top all the way down. I did a heel flap. It's a slip stitch heel flap. I figured out that the formula needs to be deeper here to compensate for this distance here on the wearer's foot. So this has been adjusted so that it's deeper. That just means that the pickup here is more stitches and that the gusset ultimately is a little bit longer to decrease this back out. And that's fine. That fits that foot perfectly. They're beautiful. They came out wonderful. I'm very excited about it. And I even, because I'm a little nerdy this way, managed to get the yarns to line up pretty close. I'm only off by half inch, not even a half inch, maybe a quarter of an inch. So you got to be looking to see that those don't line up. They're pretty close. Yeah, there we go. They're pretty close. I'm pretty happy with that. Yes. It's an OCD thing. I like everything to be all lined up. We all have our stuff, don't we? So I also have, I had some meetings at work, some off-site training this week, and I've been working on another shawl design, but it's become cumbersome and big, and it didn't really have, the rows are so long right now, they're over 400 stitches, that I just wasn't comfortable taking that with me to my off-site stuff, and I needed another small travel kind of project. So I grabbed one of my sock blanks that I have been dying to knit with. This is by Gail's Art. Gail's Art, you can find her online. You really want to follow her on Instagram because when she does an update, it's gone. You got to be fast to get her stuff. People love her stuff, and with good reason. So you got to jump in there if you want it. This is a watermelon print sock blank that I bought, I think, last year. I love it. It's so cute. It's so summery. The colors are nice and vibrant. Hers are saturated nicely, so the color goes all the way through the back, and then it has these cute accent prints that she does on it. And I decided it was due time to knit from this. Otherwise, I was just going to stare at it forever. It's so cute. But it was a good thing to have for travel knitting. It's so convenient to just fold this up and have it in a bag. Nothing's rolling around. Nothing's going to fall out of my bag and roll unsuspected under somebody else at this off-site training. So I cast on a pair of socks for myself. And simple vanilla sock. I'm using a US size 1. I've actually gone down a needle size from my standard. I really enjoy knitting with a size 2, and for years I got really the right gauge. I got correct gauge using a US 2. But I found over the past year, 2 years, that my gauge has loosened slightly, and so it was time to go down a needle size. And I have. I'm working these, just a vanilla stockinette sock. I did an inch of 2x2 ribbing at the top. It's a 64 stitch cast on. You knit in the round for as long as you want the leg. And then I went into a heel flap. Again, it's a slip stitch heel flap. It's my go-to easy mindless sock. And turned my heel. That is magic. I love it every time I do it. It never gets old. Never gets old. Every single time I turn a heel, I experience this magic and joy and elation that I made knitting turn 90 degrees. It's this beautiful, I can't put this anywhere that you can see it. It turns a corner. It's fantastic. I just love what we can accomplish with this. Yes, I'm waxing on poetic about a turned heel, but it's cool. The yarn has just been beautiful. I love how it's gone from this deep green into this lime green and down into this pink with the seeds and the stripes all through it. It's really pretty. Try and block me so the camera focuses on that. I'm excited to have these. I think they're going to be fun and they're cute and not too long. I wear wool socks year round, honestly. Unless it's August and it's really hot, I wear socks. I get cold. I know, get your thyroid checked, right? If they're comfortable and you enjoy them, wear them. They're insulating. Whether you're hot or cold, they keep you cool, they keep you hot. That's what matters. So I started a pair of socks, and as you can see, I'm about halfway through the first sock. It's good for travel knitting. I suspect that there'll be more of that in the very near future, and I may need to start another small project to have things to do. But for now, this is where we're at. The shawl. Okay, well, what have I been designing? So you're all aware of the Porch Light shawl. That's this lovely tucked back here. That is out to test knitters. They are finishing up. I am hearing from them. Several of them have it done. I have a couple other people that are at various stages of progress. Some of them have had to put things on hold for other life things. Congratulations on your house. You know who you are. Congratulations on your baby. That was an early surprise. You know who you are. And I love you guys. Thank you. As I've said before, whether you finish before the launch or you finish 5 years later, your information is still valuable. It is still good. And I appreciate every stitch. Thank you. With Porch Light, we're aiming for a May 1st launch. We're getting really close to that. Can you believe how fast this year has gone? I was sick for 3 months of it, or on a broken knee. I'm just waking up and it's already April. Which of course has me thinking about ornament exchange at the end of the year and all kinds of other fun stuff. But let's slow it down for a couple minutes and enjoy the nice new weather we're getting. Here in the US, I have beautiful sun and warm days. We are getting nice rain, which here in the desert is beautiful. And of course, the southern hemisphere is headed for sweater weather, and I'm jealous. I just got out of winter, but there's nothing better than the crisp air of autumn and leaves changing and that first night that you build a fire in the wood stove. Oh, it might be a long summer. I'm not right in it. I'm a knitter. Knitters think this way. Excuses for wool. But as I was saying, I had this idea to make a big sister to Porch Light. And I started very much with that in mind, that it was going to be cohesive to Porch Light, but was going to use 2, possibly 3 skeins. And I started to knit what I designed. And I had a nice chart all worked out. I was really happy with it. And when I got to the point that I wanted to insert that chart, my math was bad. I know, aren't you surprised? For some reason, I had it in my head that I had the multiple of stitches off. And that was a happy accident. Because now I have this really pretty chart that I've developed that'll be another new design. And this was freed from that. I was boxing it in a little bit too much. I had too tight a vision and too focused a plan where I wasn't listening to the yarn. I wasn't listening to the design. I wasn't listening to my heart. And I had to scrap that chart for this. I've got it set aside. But I kind of let everything flow more organically. and I'm really happy with the direction it has taken. It's almost fully knit. I've got all my charts done. I've got all my math done. I'm ready to put on the border. And it's just so pretty. It doesn't, okay, it has a practice name, like I've started to call it something, but it hasn't been assigned yet, so we're not going there. We're not going to talk about that yet. But it just has this real pretty pattern that's reminiscent of like a Norwegian ski sweater or a colorwork sweater, and I'm loving it. I'm going to see, we're going to try to hold this up in such a way that you can see it. No guarantees here. No guarantees here. So there's one of the spines. So you can see the spine growing out. And then how will I show this to you? This is kind of a trick. Like that. I'm webbing it out. So it reminds me of snow and mountains and like a colorwork sweater. In fact, my husband saw it and immediately went, oh, it looks like a sweater. And he wasn't talking about the size of it. It was really more about the stitch of it, that it has this colorwork kind of open work stitching. I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. I'm looking forward to finishing it. I will be wearing this one very much. I've even been thinking about how I want to photograph this. My only concern with photographing it is here I'm talking about it being very much like a sweater, and yet it is the palest whisper of lilac in color, which doesn't lend itself to snowy ski kind of thoughts. And what I would need to wear under it to really show off the open work and make this its most glorious is hardly ski wear. But does that matter? We'll see. We'll name it. We'll get there. This is going to be ready for testing in the very near future. Good grief. You know, dog hair gets everywhere, doesn't it? I spend more time removing hair than I do putting hair in, I think. But we'll be headed for testing on this very quickly. If you're looking at this and have even the slightest, oh, I want to do that, let me know. Make sure you put test knit in the subject line. I'm sorry, I call it the unnamed shawl. I don't have a formal name for it yet, but if you want to get on my radar, just send me an email that says test knit in the subject line, and I will make sure I reach out to you as soon as this is ready. I think, based on changes in life right now, it may be 2 to 3 weeks before I have this ready to go, but message me, email me, and you'll be the first to know. You'll be the first to know. I'm very happy with this. I think it's going to be really beautiful. Right now it is coming in under 800 yards, but I've got to knit the edge on, and that may throw me. No, I don't think it's going to throw me over budget. I've got this much left. I think it's going to be a nice sized piece at 2 skeins with the edge, and we should be in good shape with that. Very good. Can you tell how excited I am about it? This has been a good year. I have designed a lot despite everything that's been going on, all the changes that we've had. I got a lot of design work done already this year, and I'm very encouraged by that, and I'm hoping to keep up that pace. The more I design, the more I'm connected to the yarns that I'm developing, and I'm thinking more about coordinating my colorways against my designs and enjoying that process, making a package deal, as it were. So that's what I've been designing. I've been dyeing, and there's going to be a lot more dyeing in the very near future here. The trunk show is almost completely dyed, with the exception of a couple colorways that are in the lab. I have a couple ideas that I'm working on for some new colorways to take to my trunk show up at Unwound in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And I love playing with new colorways. That is coming up very, very quickly. I will be in La Crosse May 23rd through the 26th, and I hope to see you there. We're going to have a great time. We're going to knit my Keiko hat. We're going to have a cast-on party on Thursday the 23rd. I've shown you that. I love this hat. We're going to have a cast-on party on Thursday. And then on Friday, there's a class. After the shop closes, we're going to have a class on pairing hand-dyed yarns to projects, how to read your knitting, how to really pair them up, not just with another pattern, but with each other to make the most of those colors, to really make that yarn sing, rather than sitting on a shelf being not having a pattern good enough for it. We're going to start making that connection for you so that you can relate to this pattern works with this yarn, and this pattern will work with this yarn if I make these little changes or if I pair it with this. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about that sort of thing, and a lot of hands-on looking at and reading different yarns. Very excited about that. I'll be in the shop all day Friday. I'll be in the shop all day Saturday. Sunday, I'll be in the shop all day, but we have a brunch Sunday morning that is great fun. Great fun. We all go, we meet at a nice restaurant that has coffee, the best coffee, bottomless mugs, and we order whatever we want for breakfast. We all are on our own for breakfast. But as a special treat, I always bring swag bags for everyone. It's kind of like having a knit retreat with a brunch and no real commitment other than the cost of your breakfast. You get to come hang out, ask me questions, meet and greet, and then back at the shop, we're going to have a Q&A later that day as well. Pick my brain. You have questions about dyeing, you have questions about knitting, you have questions about design. That's why I'm there, and I'm more than happy to share what I know with you and learn from you at the same time. You never know what's going to trigger a new design or a new colorway. This is where I get some of my best ideas, is interacting with you. And I love that. I feed off of that. Thank you. If you have the opportunity to get there, come see me. I'd love to meet you. We have one other big kind of thing going on. Forgive me, I'm talking a lot and I'm dry. So we had a change with Patreon. If you're not familiar with my Patreon program, please pop on over. The link is down below. Patreon's a program in which you support this. You support my video equipment, my lighting, you support my studio here, you support my ability to take time and sit down and develop tutorials like the tutorials I did last week. It's a way to promote me as a designer, as a dyer, as an instructor. It helps fund everything that I do. I have great respect for anybody who's willing to support me financially. Thank you. Thank you. Through my Patreon program, we have multiple tiers of participation, and each of those tiers, it's very important to me that I give back to you guys. This is a handshake. This is a partnership. You're owners of my business when you help fund it. So I want to make sure that you get benefits from my business. We had an issue where, unfortunately, we were outside of the terms of use agreement for Patreon because we were doing a drawing each month where your benefit was that your name might be drawn and you might win yarn that month. There are international laws that work against that. I want to be in compliance, absolutely. So I did some polls and I got some feedback from you guys, both private and publicly. And I've made changes to the tiers, and what we're doing is we're rolling to a credit system where each month you will get credits at your tier level that you can either exchange for a percentage off of your purchases, or you can save up and exchange for yarn. I've added new tiers at your request at different levels. Really pop on over if you have any interest at all, or if you're simply curious, pop on over and take a look. I'm really excited about the way this is restructuring, the way this is redefining not only the Patreon program, but my business. One of the biggest hurdles I've had this year thus far has been dying enough to be prepared for the Patreon program drawings each month and be getting yarn out to my wholesale accounts and still having enough drive and enough energy to populate my Etsy store and keep things new and fresh in there. With the new defined Patreon program, much more emphasis is going to go into creative dyeing more colorways, new colorways, lots of colorways, and getting them in my shop, making it more available. Also with the Patreon program change, you're not going to have to accept the colorway of the month on the base that was already pre-designed for you. When you exchange for yarn, you choose your base, you choose your colorway. You get what you love, what you want. You're not stuck with pink if you don't like pink. You can pick any color you want. This is exciting to me because I'm going to be able to get a much broader variety out to you and give you more options. And I feel like that is a bigger thank you than this is what I did this month. I hope you agree. I'm excited about it. I'm nervous about it, of course. I'm hoping that this reiteration works. It is in full compliance with Patreon system and programs. And I hope that this works for you guys. That's the most important part, is that you enjoy it, that you feel rewarded, that you're willing to continue to invest. That is everything. I'm really excited about the redirection and really kind of rebooting my Etsy shop and getting a lot more product in there. If you have questions, if you have concerns about this, please do not hesitate to contact me. Just because I'm excited about it doesn't mean I'm not open to suggestion and change. And nothing is nothing is dyed into the wool, as it were, permanently. We can always over dye, and nothing is knit permanently, and we can always rip back and re-knit. That, I think, is I'm looking around to see if I've missed anything. I think that's everything for you guys this week. I did a lot of twisting up of skeins yesterday in preparation for my trunk show, and my shoulder's feeling a little tender, and I've got an awful lot I've got to handle this week. So I'm going to go give myself some self-love and a little bit of muscle rub on my shoulder, and I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my Sunday. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll see you all next week. Bye, guys.